Life is in seasons, as they say, and if you're like me, you often find yourself in the middle of a season wondering why no one talked about this part. But First Corinthians 10, verse 13 reminds us that nothing we face is new and that God always makes a way out. This podcast is about bringing light to those hidden moments, the questions, the transitions as we navigate purpose, calling, and living out the Christian life. I am Tamiwa, and I hope you stick with me on this journey. Hi, guys. It is such a pleasure to be back on this other end of things. I've missed you all, and we're just so grateful to God for the energy and the opportunity to actually be intentional about this concept and this idea that the Lord had been putting in my heart for such a very long time. But before we actually dive in, let's actually just share a word of prayer together. Dear God, thank you so much for your faithfulness. Thank you for how you love us and how you are so intentional about us. Father, I just pray for my brother or sister who is listening on the other end of this podcast. And I just pray that you just quiet their hearts right now. Help them to remember that you are with them and there's nothing new that they're facing, but you have gone ahead of them. You are walking with them and you are taking control of every situation they're going through right now. And I just pray that you make the words that I speak in this podcast to be life to them. Let it bring life, let it bring light to their ears and their hearts. In Jesus' name, amen. Have you guys seen that meme or that I think it's like it was a social media trending that joke of like that's what I did do for you. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Okay, for people who may not understand a little bit of my pidgin, even though people joke and say that my pidgin English is very bad. But what I just said was, is this how you guys do here? So I guess that's the translation, right? So naso na they do for you. And it was a funny kind of joke, but honestly, in that moment to me, it wasn't funny because it literally was how I felt for like the first couple months of starting my job. So a little bit about me, when I finished college, I got a job even right before I graduated with like a major airline. And the Lord had said to me, that's not your job. Don't take it. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you, but like I'm expecting you to move really soon and all of that. Long story short, um, it was until a while, like yeah, a couple months before I even like got another job, and it was a whole thing of like, okay, Lord, did you really say? But just trusting the Lord, and he took me through a training season, which I really, really appreciate him for doing that. But then fast forward to when I now finally got this job, and the Lord, ministered to my heart that this is where he was sending me to. This was a city in the US that I'd never been, didn't really know people, like didn't really have any super close friends that or family that lived in this city. I'd never been to this state before now. And literally was a whole thing of faith, like where like 3 days before moving, my stuff was packed in my car, everything was, and I didn't even have like an apartment yet. It was a whole thing. So my background is aerospace engineering, but I did minor in entrepreneurship, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself as we go on. But I always joke and say like I'm not a typical engineer. Like I love engineering, I love aviation so much, but I'm also very like businessy. I'm also very like project management kind of. I mean, I definitely my goals in life, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like ever since I was young, I've always talked about companies I want to own and things like that. But everybody has to start from somewhere, right? So so now I start this new job, and I remember driving home like a week after or a couple days or during the of starting the job, and I remember telling myself like, oh my gosh, isn't God so amazing that he would give me my dream job on like the first job after this is my first job after college, and it's literally my dream job because it let me do engineering with a little bit taste of sales and kind of a little bit taste of business, but then at the same time being close enough to management and the CEO to like see how firsthand a business is run and things like that. So, and then, getting to like actually now speak to major airlines all over the world and getting to talk to directors. And it just felt like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. So, my brethren, my brothers and my sisters, that's how I kept going. I had just moved to this place. Don't even get me started about the health issues because of the move and how everything was so busy and it was so hot. So I had some health challenges like the first couple weeks when I moved. But we scaled through. Everything was fine. It was my first time leaving, like, okay, a little bit like a big girl. I'm done with school. It's time to start chopping that engineering money, that we've been dreaming about. It's time to own my own apartment and start to, decorate it the way I want it and things like that. Ah, couple weeks after, couple months, let me say couple months, it just kept going until I can't remember when I actually just, it dawned on me and it just felt like, oh my gosh, is this all my life is going to look like? 9 to 5? Hey, nobody actually prepares you. Especially if you're like a go-getter, you have plans, you're gonna own your company, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Nobody prepares you for how the kind of mind shift that just comes when you start working a 9 to 5. It's just like no matter how great the job is, like if the job is really great, you are blessed, that's good, right? But my job had its bumps, right? So, even though I felt like at the first couple months, I was like, this is my dream job. Obviously, it had its bumps, but I thank God because that's where I was placed, and that's where I'm still placed. But most importantly, it wasn't even about the job, right? It's just that major transition and that major shift. And I literally was just feeling like, oh my gosh, I wake up, I go to work, I come back, I literally eat dinner, lie on the couch. I can't even watch shows. Me that used to in college, I would stay up late. I'm already falling asleep by like 7 or 8 p.m. When I now wake up from the couch, I transfer myself to the bed and I repeat the next day. Such a monotonous lifestyle, repeat. And then obviously Sundays I'll go to church. I was new in this city, so I obviously was still praying a lot about the church that the Lord would plant me in. And I was visiting a lot of churches. Don't even get me started on the frustration that came from that. But thankfully the Lord placed me where He wanted to be in terms of my church family and all of that. But and I didn't know anybody, but it was my dearest. That is how I didn't even realize how much this thing was like draining, sort of. And nobody really talks about how much sometimes you even begin to lose some of those dreams in a way because you just look at your life and you're like, oh my gosh. Nah, like is this all there? Like, is it it? Is this really it? I remember talking with my mom like about it just casually, and she was like, she understands what I'm talking about completely. That's why after her first job, she said, "Eh, now so na they do for you." That she just ran back to school to do masters. She's like, I'm not ready for this." And I remember just like sitting in my living room one day. I think I hadn't even like purchased my couch, so I was just like sitting on the floor. This was like a few months in, and I was just sitting on the floor. And I remember I just was like trying to pray, but my heart was so heavy. And I just like, I didn't even have the words. I was supposed to be grateful for this new life, new job, new move, everything. So I didn't even have the words to express it. And I literally broke down in tears and I was just weeping to the Lord. Like I remember this day like the back of my hand, as people say. And I was just weeping to the Lord and I was just crying to the Lord. And I'll never forget this day because midway, Seth, one of my friends even now like called me. So that's like a whole funny story. But she didn't even know what was going on. But long story short, I literally in that moment of just crying to the Lord, I heard the Lord say these words, Aduke. Now, please don't come for me that I didn't pronounce it well. All you Yoruba speaking watchers. I don't even say my name is Tomiwa. Why can't I speak? But disclaimer, I don't speak Yoruba. Okay, it's ask me about it on another day why I don't. And my name is Tomiwa. That's a whole topic for a different day. But I literally I heard these words, Aduke, and I was like, that sounds like a Yoruba name that I've heard somewhere. Like the Lord said so loud to me, Aduke. And then I went online and I looked up and I was like, Aduke, Yoruba name meaning. And brethren, the meaning of Aduke came up and it said, beloved, right? Or cherished. Ah, it's hit enter my heart. The Lord was saying to me that, see, it doesn't even matter what is going on around me. Like God was intentional about just reassuring me that, see, you are my apple of my eye, basically. You are literally my own, and I'm guarding you jealously. I have not brought you here to just waste you. Like you're not just wasting here in a 9 to 5. All the dreams, all the things I've told you, they're all still going to come to pass, you know, all those things. But first of all, just relax in my love. Relax as you know how John used to talk in the Bible and he's like, he starts by always introducing himself as the one that Jesus loved. Right? That was how I felt in that moment. And it carried me. So I just wanted to share that experience. And for me, it carried me through a lot because I was just reminded of the fact that, hey, this is not a mistake. I'm not here by mistake. And that's what I want to just start this introductory session by just saying to you. Where you are is not a mistake. The Lord loves you. He's calling you my beloved right now. He's saying you are my cherished. I'm guarding you. You know, when you cherish something, you don't just joke with the kind of places that you take the thing to. You're very jealous about, imagine God, He's so jealous about the life that He has called us to live. He's jealous about the cities He moves us to, the jobs He places us in, and all those dreams in your heart, all those things that you're like, oh, it just seems like, or even if it's not a regular quote unquote 9 to 5, it may look like something that looks different from kind of where you want to work yourself up to. But honestly, God sees you, He knows you, and you are firmly rooted. God kept telling me over and over in that season, you are at the center, like if there's anything like center, center, center. You're at the center of my will for you, and everything started to unfold. Reasons why He brought me here, reasons why I'm at that job. I mean, obviously, the growth, the trainings, the different things. I mean, it's been a journey, but I will tell you that for every single time that I went through something in that journey, whether it's navigating how to like work in corporate America and dealing with some of the things that come that nobody really talks about, like maybe I'll mention it to a friend randomly and I will find out that these are the exact same things that they are dealing with, like literally. And I'll always say, why is nobody talking about it, or at least talking louder about it? And I always say, somebody should have written a book and given me and said, okay, oh, this is adulting 201. This is now the adulting, not 101. This is 201. When you're like out of college and you're now living by yourself and you now have everything, you're now doing all the things by yourself, and just knowing how to balance and navigate corporate life, but not allowing it to actually swallow you in. Like where you come back from work and you're thinking of how you should have solved that problem. Like that was me those first couple months. It literally enveloped my life. I was like, this cannot be all there is. Please save me. Please, God, save me. Honestly. And even now I still go through some things and I'm like, whoa, why didn't somebody write a book and tell us that this is how it is? But I just thank God for His mercy. I've grown so much in these past 3 years of my job and just navigating corporate life. And this is definitely not where I'm going to be forever. But I just think it's such an important season that needs to be talked about. So this series is just talking about navigating corporate life as a Christian, whether you're in China, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in Libya, whether you're in Mongolia, whether you're in America or the UK, wherever you are, just navigating that phase and the things that come with it and what is expected of you as someone who is living out this Zoe life, the Christ life, right? What is expected of you during that too. This is just an introductory time. That's why you're hearing from me. But this is majorly just going to be a time where I'm sitting down with my girls, with my friends, and I'm just interviewing them and talking with them, literally just on the couch, just all the conversations we have on the phone. And we're like, why is nobody else talking about this? And I just figured, hey, if most of my friends were all talking about the same thing, then I can't imagine the millions of other people who are working in and navigating Christian life, or working in the corporate world as a Christian. And I just wonder the things they have, the questions they have. How do we merge that with purpose? How do you merge that with the things you're called to do and all those things? How does that look like? So I just wondered, and I just felt, you know what? And I just felt like, you know what, this would be really, really nice. The same way I was saying, that's what I did for here. Nobody tell me. I want to be a voice that helps to tell another person, whether you're just preparing to go into that life, or you've been in it, or you have younger ones that you want to talk to, or you just feel like you need a space where you can be like, I can relate to you, my sister or my brother. This is the space for you. So follow me on this journey. I'm excited for all the conversations we're going to have, especially the people I'm going to be talking with. Some of the people have been in like their industries for 20 years, 30 years, and some are just starting off like me, and some are midway. So it's going to be really fun. So stick around, and I'm excited for this journey. Wow, what an amazing conversation we've just had. I'd like to leave you with one of my favorite scriptures, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So, my dear, you can rest knowing that your Father's got you. See you next time, and stay blessed.